Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of the day it is. Welcome to the first video on what I hope will be quite a few on Creature 425. I'm an airsofter. I love it. I've been doing it for 7-8 years now, and like most experienced airsofters, I've decided to switch most of my guns over to Dean's connectors. When we do that, we have an excess abundance of tamiya ends, because most guns come with the standard tamiya connectors. The question is, what do we do when we have tamiya ends? Spare tamiya ends. Well, a lot of people try and find adapters to go from Deans to Tamiya to Deans, etc., etc. Most websites you check out, they're sold out of them. So I'm just going to show you just a quick way just to make, just to take your old Tamiya connectors that you've cut the ends off of and just turn them into a more useful product. Hopefully, you can go to an airsoft field, sell them. Like I like to go to games and stuff like that, and I have a bunch of adapters with me, and I'll sell them for $5 a piece. That's a nice little way to just offset my costs of going to a game. And I think people like them. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you a quick way on how to turn these little useless piece of plastic into something that you can make some money with. Stay tuned. Okay, I've got my soldering station switched on here. It's been heating up for a while. If you guys want, comment below. I'll show you how to make one of these soldering stations. I'm planning on making a new one anyway, so make a video of it and do it sooner rather than later. Okay, first thing you're going to want to do, take your Tamiya connector that you have. I have a male one here. I have a tool to take out the actual connectors, like the pin connectors inside of it. It's just a regular pin removal tool I picked up from Napa Auto Parts. I had to grind this end down a little bit just to fit inside of it, but it works fine. I've been using it for quite a while. So, stick your tool in the one end. Grab your pliers. I should have had my fucking pliers ready, but that's the thing about doing this, right? Never think about it. Okay, just pry it out nice and gently. You don't want to pull it too hard because there are two little catches right here, and we don't want to bend them inside. So you just want to take them out nice and gentle like. Okay, same thing. Nice and gentle. Perfect. Okay. Now I've already got my the wire that I'm going to use to extend it. I've already got it cut and stripped. Just going to use my good old helping hands. Stick one in there. I'm going to take one of the pin connectors, my wire strippers, just strip the end off of it so I expose the bare wire. Focus. There we are. Now what I like to do is I like to interweave them, the two bare wire ends. I know some people don't like to do that, but this is just my preferred way of doing things. Experiment, like try what works for you, and just kind of weave them together like that. In the old helping hands. Take your flux, little brush, Now I use a plumbing flux. It works just as well as an electronic flux, I find, and it's significantly cheaper. I picked mine up at Canadian Tire. If my international viewers, if I indeed have any, could not tell by my accent, because I know I have one, I am a Canadian from the province of Manitoba. Yes, we do find time to airsoft when it's not just, or when it's not freezing out there. So what I'm doing now, I'm just heating the flux up. It cleans the wires and it helps the solder bond to the bare wires a lot easier. Now, taking my solder, I like to use a 0.8 millimeter 6040 blend Nextex solder with a rosin core. I find it works really well for doing electronic stuff. Go to a thinner one if you want. Don't really use a thicker one and try to avoid a lead-based solder. So I'm just putting the solder on the tip of my soldering pencil. And yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear that sizzle or not, but that's the flux kind of cleaning the wires. Cleaning the wires, helping the solder bond to it. You don't want to use too much solder because you don't want to get it too lumpy. Here's where the trick comes in. Okay, so I always clean my soldering pencil after I'm done using it. So, okay, that's bonded together, that's great. But we want to make sure that we cover the end up with some heat shrink, just so we don't have an exposed electrical connection. Because I don't know about you guys out there, guys and gals, but I have been shocked once or twice, and it's not very fun. Electricity and I don't get along too well. So I've got my heat shrink on, take my lighter, just above it, so it bonds nice. There we are. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with the other end. Strip it off. Interweave. And flux. You can see I'm using two different color of wire, red and black. You can use just one color if you want, but I prefer to actually use the positive and negative colors. That just helps me identify, because sometimes I forget about stuff and I can't remember which end's positive, which end's negative. You'll see if I ever do the how to make the adapter video. I like to, on my Dean's ends, I like to mark on it which one's positive, which one's negative with a Sharpie. That's just for my own recollection. I know they say on them, but it's so tiny, and really I probably should be wearing glasses. Okay, and some of you will notice that I'm actually using a red heat shrink as well. Maybe I'm OCD, I don't know, but I don't like to have like a red wire with black heat shrink on it. That's just me. It doesn't work any better, doesn't work any worse. It's just my own thing. I think it makes the ends look better. Okay, so Now we've got our wires on. Now, what I like to do is, remember earlier, guys, I was talking about these little ends here? Like just these little catches. I'm just going to take an X-Acto knife, just pry them up just a little bit, so when they go in to the actual connector, they will lock. You don't have to do this. It's just another extra little step that I take just to make sure everything locks in properly. Now we're just going to take the wire, insert into the tamiya end, make sure it locks, give it a little tug, perfect. Same thing with the negative side, perfect, locked in, and now we have a perfectly good male tamiya end that we can use on a future project. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be back again to show you more connectors and maybe some other stuff too. So until then, I've been Preacher425, and I will see you guys next time.